This is the exact video I wish my husband watched when he was getting into his first Ironman training. If you're someone who recently started getting into endurance training and you maybe are starting to prepare for your first event, or maybe you've already completed a few endurance races and you do have a partner, you know the toll the training can take on your relationship if you're not intentionally approaching it. The difference between all of you who are amateur triathletes compared to a professional triathlete for whom this is a full-time job, majority of people have to combine their very intense and demanding training schedule with a full-time job as well as all these family commitments, and it is such a challenging juggling act. My husband has done numerous endurance events over the last few years, things like multiple marathons, swimming, 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers, a heap of half Ironman distances, and 3 full Ironman triathlons, with the most recent one completing in 9 hours, 20 minutes. And if any of you who are watching have ever done an Ironman or preparing for one, you would know this is an incredibly fast time that would demand a lot of training commitment. When my husband initially started with endurance training, I'm going to be honest, I felt resentful. This was something that was taking so much of his time, resources, energy, and I feel like we didn't approach it in a intentional way originally. And this is why now, looking back at it and realizing how actually now this is such a big part of our life, and I actually can say that I feel like my husband's endurance training has made our relationship stronger. I can look back and see that here were a few really key changes that we've made over the years to really make sure that this is something that becomes sustainable for both people. Because as a partner on the other side, you do end up being quite involved in it as well, because you do have to support your partner as they're going through this journey. And if you're someone who's already been through this, you'd know how much that support really means and how much harder it is to train and to perform when you are living with someone who is resentful and is not supportive of whatever it is that you're doing. So, following our 6 tips that I want to share that for you as an endurance athlete in a relationship, if you were to start following, guaranteed will help you to make sure that your relationship not only does not suffer throughout your training journey, but actually improves and even gets stronger. Number 1 is super obvious. Communicate, communicate, communicate. And when I say communicate, I don't just mean say when your training is happening, although that is all very important. Use a shared calendar. Communicate in writing. This is going to be so helpful. Put in your large brick sessions for Saturdays, for Sundays in your calendar so your partner knows when you're going to be doing them. Equally, speak to your partner about adding important other non-training related events into the calendar as well. So if there is, I don't know, friends, kids' birthday party on a Saturday at 12 p.m., this is added to your calendar and you can see it and you can plan and adjust your training schedule accordingly. This is going to make a huge difference because this will mean that both of you are completely on the same page in terms of what's happening and there are no surprises last minute. Coming from that first aspect, second one is be flexible with your training. Of course, you have to be disciplined. Nobody is arguing that. And most of the time, you have to stick to your schedule. However, you need to learn to listen to your body and also learn when there are some important milestones, events in your personal life that you need to prioritize over your training and try and reshuffle. So maybe, you're used to doing your long sessions on Saturday, but your wedding anniversary is on Saturday, and you decide you're going to do something together as a couple, and you're going to move your long session to Sunday, and instead we'll do your long run on Saturday. Yes, this might not be ideal. It might suck to have to do it on a Sunday, but I'm telling you that when you are able to work those important things into your training schedule, you are going to enjoy it more. For my husband's second Ironman, he stuck to his very grueling training regime 100%, sacrificed a lot of things, and he didn't enjoy his training. And in the end, he actually tanked during the race. And there were probably lots of different factors that came into it, but for the subsequent one, he still worked extremely hard, but took on that more flexible approach. And I could see how that made the relationship between him and I a lot stronger. And at the same time, it has really helped him to enjoy the journey a lot more and not feel sometimes resentful of all of these training hours that you gotta do. Number 3 is involve your partner into some aspects of your training. This is going to help you bond and connect over something that you're so passionate about. Some of the things that my husband and I do are going for a cool down walk after his long training sessions on the weekend. I'm sure you know that it is very much recommended not to just collapse on the couch after you spend 6 hours on the bike or ran a half marathon at a really high pace. It is recommended that you move your legs. So we would always schedule a bit of a coffee date after he is finished. This is something that is a nice thing. It's a bit of a ritual, allows us to bond and also spend some time together. We'll also choose his triathlon outfits together. So what is he going to wear on a race day? What color is going to be the tri-suit, the socks, the cap, and all those things. These seem like very small, but it does make a difference. You kind of feel like you're two part of it. Also, recovery. Recovery is something that we tend to do together. Anything from a gentle stretching, foam rolling, yoga, going for walks, also sometimes doing sessions like a sauna and ice baths and stuff like that. Again, your partner may not be interested in the endurance part of the training per se. Like, this is something that's true to me, but there are lots of other kind of elements of it where both of you can be involved, and that can make a big difference. Number 4 is push yourself to help out when you can. At the end of the day, you're an endurance athlete, so push yourself even when you're tired to do small things around the house. That way, your partner is not going to feel like it's all on their shoulders. Now, if you're just starting out your endurance training, you're going to be so exhausted that this suggestion is going to feel absolutely ridiculous to you. But I'm going to tell you that I noticed a huge difference in my husband's ability to step in and help out and do lots of things as his training progressed and as his fitness level has improved. Initially, he would do his brick session and then just collapse on the couch and not be able to do much. But as the weeks progressed, after a little bit of rest, he would be able to actually do quite a lot of things. And that made a big difference, because you don't want to be in a situation where your partner feels like they're constantly doing everything and all you're doing is training. So please push yourself and challenge yourself to help out and contribute as much as you can. This is important. Number 5, express your appreciation. The chances are that while you're in your intense training block, you are not able to spend as much together with your partner, and most likely you're not able to contribute equally to all of the household chores that need to happen. So it's quite likely that your partner might be doing a lot more than normal. Make sure they feel recognized for it. If you feel a bit uncomfortable about this, don't just kind of be silent about it and not bring it up. The opposite is important. You need to make sure that you verbally acknowledge them for all the efforts that they are making, and that thanks to them, your training is possible and that they are helping you in a huge, huge way. Do not underestimate how far genuine appreciation can go. Sometimes also think about doing some small gestures. They don't have to be expensive, but bringing a small bunch of flowers, or maybe taking your partner out for a nice dessert and a coffee somewhere. Little things like that will help them remember and remind them that you truly, truly value and appreciate. And it's always so much nicer to do things for other people when you know that they are appreciated. And final tip number 6 is plan something after your race is done. You will inevitably have an off season where you're not going to be training as hard. Make sure that you plan some really cool, fun activities that you are going to do together. Ideally, this might even be a holiday where you go and just relax and bond together. I understand this may not always be practical or possible, but doing something together and something that both of you have to look forward to is going to make a big, big difference. Thank you for watching. Please let me know in the comments below which tips did you find helpful, and if you are training for an endurance event, this is amazing. Please keep going and know that whatever you're doing is so, so inspiring to everybody around you. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.